Tennessee is playing for the national championship on Monday night. What needs to happen for the Tennessee baseball team to reign victorious in the College World Series? That and more. It's your Monday Locked On Vols.
You are Locked On Vols, your daily podcast on the Tennessee Volunteers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome into it, your Monday edition of Locked On Vols. I am your host, Eric Kane. Appreciate you guys for, you know the drill, making Locked On Vols your first listen, your first watch each and every single day. You can watch us, listen to us, subscribe to us, download us, all that for free, wherever you get your podcasts, of course, in the Locked On Vols YouTube channel. Big day coming up today. National Championship Monday, all right? Tennessee's been playing in the College World Series for the last, it feels like 2 weeks I've been out here. It's been about a week and a half I've been out here in Omaha, Nebraska. And, of course, if you're watching on YouTube and all that, I do thank you. Please subscribe to the channel if you're watching but aren't subscribed. And you can see that I'm in some type of meeting room. Later on in the show, I did a pre-recorded segment talking recruiting. Charles House committed to Tennessee, so we're going to go over that in segment number 3. And so it's been a little bit of, got to record here, and it's going to be like that on tomorrow's show because I'm going to record some segment before I go to the national championship game, and then win, lose, there won't be a draw. I will record something on Monday night, probably Tuesday morning. It's going to be super, super late. So those of you guys that watch when it drops at midnight, sorry, it's going to be a little bit later than that. But we're going to have to talk about if Tennessee pulls it off or if Tennessee's season falls short in the Game 3. But that's the rundown here today. I mean, Tennessee is literally playing for all the marbles, as a Tennessee administrator put it whenever I was talking to him on the field after the game on Sunday, all the Tostitos. I mean, this is it. Win or go home, do or die. And man, it's exciting. It is exciting, and it's one of those things where it's hard to fathom, right? Like, we know how good Tennessee's baseball team has been under Tony Vitello. We know about the conference championships, the regular seasons, the SEC tournaments. We know about regionals and super regionals. I mean, this is the third time in 4 years that Tennessee baseball team's gone to Omaha. I mean, this stage isn't, it doesn't, it's not scary anymore, if you know what I'm saying, but still to win it. And I've been on record saying I think the hardest thing to do in all of sports is win a College World Series championship because of just everything it takes just to go through your season and then get there and then do it all over again in a regional and super regional setting. And that's kind of where we are entering Monday. Tennessee took one on the chin the other night, falling to Texas A&M by a score of 9-5 on Saturday night. Starting pitching was not good, and Tennessee fell victim, or really pitching overall was not good, and Tennessee fell victim of the big inning. Texas A&M scored 5 runs in the third inning, and Tennessee was never able to really overcome that. Sloppy defense. Tennessee had 3 errors in that game as well, and that didn't help matters out at all, and Tennessee was 2 for 13 with runners in scoring position. So not a very good game for Tennessee in the opener against Texas A&M on Saturday. On Sunday, first inning home run, Jace Laviolette, I can't say his name, but he's a really, really good player. He takes Drew Beam yard in the first inning. You're like, oh, here we go. It's gonna be a long road ahead, right? But no, Drew Beam was so good. That was his only mistake. That was his only mistake on the day. He pitches into the 5th inning and was really good. 7 strikeouts, 2 walks, allowed only 3 hits, did Drew Beam. And he handed the ball over to Aaron Combs that got him out of a huge jam in the 5th inning. Hat tip to Cal Stark behind the plate as well for not his 4th, not his 5th, not his 6th, but his 7th back pick at first base on the year. I mean, goodness gracious, Cal Stark is so good at that. And you got out of that jam in the 5th inning, and then Tennessee continues on, and Aaron Combs is really great out of the bullpen. He pitches 4 innings of no-run baseball where he gave up 3 hits, struck out 5, and then finally Tennessee gets the bats going. I'll get to the horrors with runners in scoring position and with runners on and all that here in a moment. But it was a 2-run home run by Dylan Dreiling in the 7th inning that put Tennessee ahead for the first time at 2-1. And then in the 8th inning, it was a 2-run home run for Cal Stark. Yes, the same Cal Stark that was 0 for 16 in Omaha with 9 strikeouts. That Cal Stark came to the plate and sent the ball over the fence. Huge insurance run, number 2 and number 3, and Tennessee led 4-1 entering the bottom of the 8th inning. it was big. I mean, it was huge for Tennessee, and Tennessee was able to ride it out, even though A&M put the tying run at the plate in the 9th inning with no outs, and Tennessee was able to figure it out, and Nate Snead comes in, and he slams the door shut for his 7th save of the season, and boy, what a win for Tennessee. Again, this is twice now Tennessee's shown that it's not playing, a part of its game is not there. Friday night against last Friday night, 2 Friday nights ago, however you want to phrase it, against Florida State, Tennessee's pitching just was non-existent, but Tennessee's hitting came and backed it up, and they were able to walk it off, 12-11. In this game, the pitching was phenomenal, and it bought Tennessee enough time for when the bats finally woke up, and Tennessee's bats did what Tennessee's bats do, and they hit for power. And Tennessee was able to come back and have that 2-run home run, then have another one, and then cruise off and win that ball game. So, best teams in the nation figure out ways to win games when something's not working. And for a large portion of Sunday, the bats were just not working. I mean, Tennessee had 7 hits in the ball game, which is okay. But guys, the Tennessee was abysmal in terms of hitting with runners on base. 2 of 19. This is with the 2 hits with runners on base were the 2 home runs. Tennessee hit 105 on Sunday with runners on base. 2 of 19, though you better make them count. And those 2 hits drove in 4 runs, and so Tennessee did make him count. Tennessee was 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position on Sunday. 125 is the average. One of those hits was with Christian Moore at second base. Dylan Dreiling left the yard, and so Tennessee made it count. And it doesn't matter if it's pretty or spotless or whatever. You got to win. You got to win. You don't apologize for it whatsoever. Those 2 home runs able to overshadow just a really, really tough day at the plate. Despite Tennessee leading off innings, 5 of 11 with your leadoff hitter, okay? 455 is the average. Tennessee was able to put the leadoff man on so many different times, just couldn't move him over, couldn't bring him in. And that was very, very, very frustrating on Sunday. But while all that was going on, Tennessee just went to work on the mound. Drew Beam, again, the 1 run that was the home run, 4 innings, 7 strikeouts. Aaron Combs comes in, 4 innings out of the bullpen, 3 hits, no runs, 5 strikeouts. Kirby Cannell came in, faced 1 batter, gave up 1 hit, said see you later. Nate Snead came in, picked up the save. It was his 6th, not his 7th of the year, his 6th save of the year. Picked up 3 outs on 3 batters' face, and Tennessee won the ball game. What a really good win for Tennessee. And it sets the table now for Tennessee to try and go win a national championship. What would this mean for Tennessee in terms of trying to go win a national championship? Well, this is the 2nd time in program history Tennessee's playing for a national championship. We know this, going back to 1951, where Tennessee came up short against Oklahoma 3-2. The final series marks the 3rd time in 4 years where a pair of SEC teams are going for the gold. The Aggies are going for their first national championship in program history, same as Tennessee, while it would be the 24th team national championship in all sports and the first since 2009 for Tennessee, and that 09 team was the women's indoor track and field team. Also, if Tennessee finishes the job and gets the win tonight and claiming the national championship, that would mean the first SEC team in the history to reach 60 victories in a single season, just the 4th conference team to win the SEC regular season title, the SEC tournament title, and the College World Series title in the same season, joining Vanderbilt, who did it in 2019, and LSU, who did it twice in 2009 and in 1993. And if Tennessee wins this national championship, well, it would snap the curse of the number ones not being able to win since Miami back in 1999. But more than anything, it would give Tony Vitello a national championship. It would give this team that has earned it a national championship. It would give those players that built it, the Luke Lipsiuses, the Max Fergusons, the Zach Daniels, the Andre Lipsiuses, the Jake Ruckers, the Alaric Solares, the Drew Gilberts, the Jordan Becks, the Trey Lipscombs, the Chad Dallases, so on and so forth. It would give all those guys, sure, they didn't win it, but boy, without those guys, these guys aren't here. You know what I'm saying? So, man, I'm amped up and ready to go. I'm ready to see them finish this job. I'm stoked. I'm pumped. And Sunday was a good day. But you're just sitting there, and it's so frustrating because the offense just wasn't doing anything. You were getting the leadoff man on, but Tennessee wasn't able to do anything with it. And I'm just sitting there, and I'm talking to my buddy Noah Taylor sitting to my left. And I'm like, dude, this offense is too good. Eventually, something's going to break through. Something's going to break through. Something's going to break through. And finally, it did with the home run ball. Go figure, right? Dylan Dreiling and Cal Stark. But make no mistake about it. Those home runs, noteworthy, deserve all the praise in the world. Tennessee won this game, and the season is still alive for another day because the pitching was fan-freaking-tastic on Sunday. So shout out to Drew Beam, shout out to Aaron Combs, Kirby Cannell, and shout out to Nate Snead for getting it done. Just getting it done. Tennessee plays for a national championship tonight, the final day of the baseball season. We've been going at it since mid-February. It was right after Valentine's Day. I was on a plane to Dallas, to Arlington, okay, to watch Tennessee take part in the Children's Shriners Collegiate Invitational or whatever. We followed this team to Florida Gainesville. We followed this team to the SEC tournament and so many home games at Lindsey Nelson in between. We've gone to Lexington, Kentucky. We've seen them play regionals and super regionals, and now here in Omaha. Last game of the season. It's here. It's tonight. Might as well win it. Might as well win it, all right? Win or lose. Tuesday's coverage will lead off with Tennessee, hopefully, being the national champion, and I'm excited. Pitching-wise, real quick, by the way, Christian Moore told some members of the media after the game he's going to play tomorrow, so you don't have to worry about that. Slid into second base, came up a little bit. It took a little time out, and eventually they put Ariel Antigua in there to play second base in the ninth inning, but they do that with Ariel a lot, whether it be third or short or second, because he's a defensive wizard. But Christian Moore said, hey, I'm going to be in that lineup. And Hunter Inslee came back and played center field, which I thought was really, really good on Sunday. But Tennessee's going to go with Zander Sechrist. And then, season's on the line. Final game of the season. Don't hold anything back, right? Right? Nate Snead. I bet you anybody could come in here and face a batter at least if you needed. But I would imagine the pitching would go Zander, with a Kirby and Nate Snead. And then from there, it's like, okay, well, Can Combs, can he give me a half an inning? Can, A.J. Causey, can he come in and face this batter? Maybe Marcus Felton, just trying to piece it together a little bit. And then for, for A&M, they are likely going to go with the guy that's already started 2 games here in Omaha. Forgot his first name, but it's Lemke, essentially is his name. And their closer, who didn't pitch on Sunday, Evan Auschenbach, really good player. Would almost guarantee that he's going to be in that game on Monday as well. Time to get after it. Final game of the season. Don't hold anything back. We'll see if Tennessee can be national champions, and we'll cover it all right here on Locked On Vols. Hey, when we come back, the voice of the Tennessee Volunteers, Mr. John Wilkerson. I caught up with him after the game on Sunday to get his thoughts, to recount from his perspective what went down in Tennessee's 4-1 win over Texas A&M and Game 2 of the College World Series Finals. That's coming up next as we continue on here with this edition of Locked On Vols. Stay tuned. Hey, when you're looking to hire for your small business, you want to make sure you find quality professionals that are right for the role. That's why you got to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs, they have the tools to help you find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. LinkedIn isn't like any other job board, okay? Not just like the next job board you find online. LinkedIn helps you find professionals that you can't find anywhere else, even those who aren't actively searching for new jobs, but they might be open for the perfect role. In a given month, over 70% of LinkedIn users don't visit other leading job sites. So if you're not looking on LinkedIn, you really are looking in the wrong place, because 86% of small businesses, they get qualified candidates within 24 hours. You can hire a professional like a professional on LinkedIn, because 2.5 million small businesses are using LinkedIn for hiring right now. You can post your job for free over linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That is linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions, they do apply. John, what a phenomenal baseball game. Obviously, winning this Game 2, punching the ticket to Game 3, winner take all. Immediate reactions following this come from behind win, Tennessee 4-1.
Took a while, but you just knew that this team was going to find a way, because that's what they've done all year. This is Tennessee had only lost back-to-back games once this season, so I didn't expect them to go down without a fight. And then surely it's not surprising that it's Dylan Dreiling who delivers the big hit. Had just hit a home run last night, didn't have a hit today, so you knew he was due. 2 4-hit games in this year's College World Series, And so he's exactly who you want up. So he had a runner at second. You're thinking at least there's the chance to get a base hit and tie the game. But no, Dylan went ahead and drilled that pitch to right, and Tennessee had the lead. Turns out they had enough, but boy, sure didn't feel like it in both the bottom of the eighth and the bottom of the ninth. But again, just not surprised, because as long as it's possible, this team finds a way.
It does. It's a resilient, group of guys, and we've seen that all year long. And down 1-0, I mean, that's nothing. But as the game dragged along, it felt like it was a 3 or 4 run deficit. And so Dylan gets the big hit. And here's some numbers for you. The numbers, hitting with running scoring position and runners on were really bad. But hey, you got the win. It doesn't matter. 0 for 16 with 9 strikeouts was Cal Stark before that 2-run home run. And that 2-run home run was some insurance that Tennessee needed till the very end there. I mean, how good was it to see that hit from Cal?
Well, it was awesome. And it's also his second home run of the season against Texas A&M. He did so. He left the field to right down in the SEC tournament. So it's not as though he felt uncomfortable. And you just, again, with Cal, it's possible. I mean, 2 grand slams among his 10 home runs. So while it's not the consistent contribution that folks would love, you still point to other things that were equally as big. I mean, that's huge, but when they have runner at first, and perhaps they're threatening to score their first real threat in the game because they had a solo home run in the first, but they have 2 on. There's a back pick at first. His 7th runner erased this year. That was huge. Blake Burke with the throw from his knees to short after a hard grounder to first. There are so many plays. 7 strikeouts for Drew Beam again. And then Aaron Combs shut out baseball out of the bullpen. So many big instances for Tennessee. So while they really struggled, and it was beyond an uphill climb to get that big hit for the Volunteers, they did everything right to keep it where it was, and that was within reach. Anytime, I mean, as you mentioned, it was kind of like pulling teeth today. But if there's a second run or a third run scored by Texas A&M, who knows what it's like for the Vols late. But they got the job done, and now it comes down to one game.
It does, and we'll get to that one game here in a moment. The story of this one is the late home runs, the Dreiling and Stark, as we talked about, but just phenomenal pitching. You mentioned Combs. What made him so effective? Then after Combs, I mean, Drew Beam, again, very reminiscent of his start here against LSU last year. Now, he went further in that game. I think he gave up a run, 5 2/3, but no run support. He went into the 5th inning here, was really good. He gave up that 1 home run in the 1st inning, but just didn't have any run support. I thought Drew Beam was really good here today.
He sure was. And he's been here. He's been good the whole time here.
Yeah.
And you wanted to make sure that his last appearance in a Tennessee uniform, and likely it was, that he didn't go out with a loss. That would have been horrible to see his time with Tennessee end 1-0. But again, the team just did everything it could to keep it within striking distance. And so while it was so frustrating, bases loaded in the 2nd, bases loaded in the 4th, you leave 8 runners on through the first 4. Again, this team never counts itself out, and the numbers are there to back it up.
Yeah, just a really, really good game, and now it comes down to Game 3, and Tennessee can have Zander Sechrist. Tennessee will have Nate Snead. Tennessee will have Kirby Cannell if you need it. I would imagine Combs and Causey are probably burned, but you're in a really good spot pitching-wise. Now, they'll probably go Lampke, I believe that's his name, who's already had a couple of starts here in Omaha. Their closer, who was getting warm on Sunday, didn't come in, but he'll be available. It's going to come down to, obviously, who wants it more, who can execute the most. But, I mean, Tennessee's in a really, really good spot.
Yeah, it comes down to essentially a coin toss, seemingly.
Yeah.
But Tennessee's been in this position before. This will be the 9th time that Tennessee carries 1-1 into a series finale or a weekend finale. Tennessee's 7-1 in the previous 8 trips. So A&M has its experience in it as well. They've done it 3 times. They won 2 of the 3. They lost at Florida. That was the one where they came up short. So we'll see what happens, but you're exactly right. Everything's going to be magnified tomorrow. And just as we saw a couple of quick, switches for Texas A&M, boy, Cortez was really good for them. And Tennessee just survived that, which was big, even though they had chances. I mean, to get 5 runners on against him, I thought was impressive. But I just think the fact that they were able to survive the flamethrower gave them even more hope that they could get this job done.
An opportunity to win the first national championship in program history, 9 innings away. Of course, we can have this conversation after the outcome, but a pretty big moment for this program, John.
It is. And to think, win number 59.
Yeah.
Only one other SEC team has done that, and that's Vanderbilt, which won it all in 2019. So Tennessee, if it gets the job done, will have 60 wins. And it's remarkable that they're in a position to do that. And it is a testament to the team because they've been backs to the wall. I mean, granted, they went out and took care of Evansville 12-1, but they go into that game knowing if they don't win, they're done.
Yeah.
And they got the job done. So I just appreciate where this team has been and how it's pushed back, punched back when it's needed to.
John, can't wait to hear you tomorrow as Tennessee plays for a national championship against Texas A&M.
Eric, sure do appreciate it. Thank you.
What is it about our friends over at FanDuel Sportsbook? It is summertime. It is baseball time. The NBA Finals have wrapped up, and there's still plenty going on over at FanDuel Sportsbook that you can put some coin in your pocket and check out for yourself. It is America's #1 sportsbook. Did you know that? Of all the sportsbook out there, FanDuel is America's #1. And if you're a new customer, you can get $200 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That is $200 that you can use on everything from baseball right now to NASCAR on the weekends to golf to football that's upcoming. You can put futures bets in as well. I mean, Nico Imaliava, he's on there in terms of Heisman odds, and you Tennessee fans can get in some great value right now on futures over at FanDuel Sportsbook. All you need to do is visit FanDuel.com. Again, that's FanDuel.com/LockedOn and add a big win to your summer bucket list. Again, new customers, $200 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. Again, that's America's #1 sportsbook. It's FanDuel. FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. All right, everybody, welcome back into your Monday edition of Locked On Vols. Again, on the road, it's just kind of making it work, trying to get the most up-to-date show out there for you guys on a Monday morning. So different locations that I'm recording these. In fact, I'm recording this segment that you're watching and listening to right now, well, Saturday afternoon, because big news was Charles House committed to the University of Tennessee, and I wanted to get a little recruiting talk in here along with all the baseball conversation we've been having here on a Monday. So we'll be back. We'll be back home. Man, I hope sometime tomorrow. Be back home in the home studio, so we'll be back to normal, which is great. But have enjoyed my time out here in Omaha. It's been a long, long time. But obviously when Tennessee baseball keeps on winning, that's something to celebrate. But right now, let's get into the commitment that happened over the weekend. That is Charles House. Defensive lineman, 6'3", about 300 pounds. He's from Charlotte, North Carolina. He becomes Tennessee's 13th commit for the class of 2025. Now, if you look at the On3 industry rankings, he is rated as a 3-star. On3 right now is the only publication that has him rated as a 4-star. 247 has him as a 3-star. ESPN has him as a 3-star. Rivals.com has him as a 3-star. But On3 has him as a 4-star right now. But when you do those weighted averages, it comes out to a 3-star in terms of the industry rankings over there at On3. In terms of what On3 views him as, On3 thinks that he is the 284th best player in the class. So a top 300 player. Believes that Charles House is the 24th rated defensive lineman in the class and the 9th player from the state of North Carolina in the class. That's how On3 views him. And of course, all these publications, not just On3, but 247 and Rivals, and I don't know if ESPN even does it. Maybe they don't. They don't really aren't really in this ball game, to be honest with you. But throughout the year they do different rankings and everything, and so expect Charles House to get a bump at some point in time. But On3's first on the scene there, saying that he is a 4-star rated prospect, and he committed to Tennessee. It was, I guess, Saturday morning or afternoon, somewhere around 12:30, and it was really, really good to see. He plays for former Vol Daryl Vereen, if you remember that name. And that's at Fourth Mucklenburg High School in North Carolina. And again, he's coached by Daryl Vereen. If you go over to thevolquest.com and check out that impact analysis that Matt Ray put together, Vereen had some pretty good things to say about Charles House. And here's a little bit of it. I'm not going to give away the whole pie here, but here's a piece. Quote, "I would say he is a player with a large motor. I never had an issue with him running to the ball since he's been here as a 9th grader. He is good at flipping his hips, running to the screens of the running back. Of course, he walked in the door at 6'3", 300 pounds, so he's always been a nice-sized kid. One thing I've always liked about him the most is that he is coachable. I can be as hard on him sometimes, just in a way where I'm just honest with him." Chuck says, "Yes, sir. Out of these 4 years, no matter how hard I rip him, he accepts the challenge and is ready for the next play. He's an everyday kid. He comes to work out there every single day. He's never been a kid that we have to call to ask, for him to do something or where you at. I have always said that the sky is the limit for everyday kids. I would say that is the case for him as well. He is he's got consistency, and he's a great kid too. He doesn't follow behind people. He treads his own water, that would make more sense, and is all right working alone. Again, that is from VFL and the head coach of Mecklenburg High School, Daryl Vereen, who coaches Tennessee's new commit defensive tackle, Charles House. So, Charles House now joins a class that's already got a pretty nice, here of late, a defensive line, makeup. Ethan Utley, of course, is the headliner, an in-state prospect. He committed to Tennessee back in the early spring, winter. Jaden Lofton, a couple weeks ago, went ahead and committed to the University of Tennessee. And now Charles House is added to that mix. Of course, guys who are on campus this past weekend included Bryce Donovan Jenkins, Marion Dye. You got guys that are being, still considered, and Tennessee's still in the running for, highly rated prospects such as Isaiah Gibson, Zion Grady, Damian Shacklin, Christian Gass, so on and so forth. So, this line is starting to kind of be built up a little bit, and it's really, really good to see. Tennessee's class here of late, you got Nick Moore that committed late last week. You've got, of course, now Charles House that committed over the weekend. I mentioned Jaden Lofton that committed about a week and a half ago. So this class is starting to come together a little bit. And you look at kind of where Tennessee ranks. And again, until you get some of these big fishes, so you get some of these big fish, such as a David Sanders or an Isaiah Gibson or somebody of that nature, you're not going to take a big jump in the rankings, if you will. So, after this commit from Charles House, Tennessee is sitting at 13th in the country nationally, 8th in the SEC. But again, Tennessee does have 13 commits. The more commits you get, the better those rankings are going to be. Joining the class, of course, of George McIntyre, that's the 5-star. Ethan Utley that I mentioned, the highly rated 4-star. Rodarius Jackson, a wide receiver, that's a 4-star. Jack Van Dorseleer, who's the highly rated 4-star tight end. Jaden Lofton, who I spoke on, 4-star defensive lineman. Nick Moore, who I spoke on, 4-star offensive lineman, maybe the center of the future. Sidney Walton, 3-star safety. Anthony Ogmoro, the 3-star offensive lineman interior. Dylan Lewis, 3-star cornerback. 3-star running back Justin Baker. 3-star wide receiver Joakim Dotson. 3-star/4-star Charles House, who we're speaking on now. And then Tyler Redmond, who is a 3-star cornerback as well. So Tennessee doing a good job. Recruiting continues to swirl here. This is the busy months. June officials lead to some commitments. A lot of guys go ahead and commit in July as well. And Tennessee finished up. Tennessee kind of wrapped up the official visit swing for the month of June, and now we'll see what comes of it. I think Tennessee's been doing a really, really good job. And the Vols, again, cast a wide net, are in it for a number of these highly respected prospects. And not everyone's going to choose Tennessee. Don't get me wrong. Don't hear me wrong. But Tennessee's kind of approached recruiting a little bit differently in some of these positions. And I think one of those is the line of scrimmage. The net is wide, both on the offensive line and the defensive line. And Tennessee's getting some guys. And Tennessee's building up the line of scrimmage. And football can evolve and football can change a little bit, and we can do high, fast tempos and no huddles and, spread it all out and everything. But at the end of the day, still, I'm not breaking any news here. You guys know that football games are won at the line of scrimmage, and I think Tennessee's doing a nice job of building the line of scrimmage here. Really, in last year's class, I like that offensive line group from last year's class. A lot of guys that aren't ready to play right now, but I do think eventually are going to be some players here at Tennessee. And, of course, Tennessee's adding on here in the class of 2025 as well. So that is going to do it here for this edition. Wanted to get that in there about Charles House, Tennessee's latest commitment from the high school ranks. I appreciate you guys for tuning in and taking part of the show here on a Monday. Of course, we talked about everything that happened, baseball over the weekend, and the College World Series Finals. And really, really do appreciate you guys getting here. We'll continue the conversation on tomorrow's show. This is Locked On Vols.